When a movie manages to make it to the #1 spot on Netflix, you'd assume that it would be worth a watch. Turns out that's not always the case. From a shaky storyline to awkward red carpet photos with zero chemistry, there's a lot that didn't sit right with people. Let's see why Netflix's newest rom-com has disappointed so many people. For starters, it does come off as a surprise to me that even the literal queen of 2000s rom-coms, Reese Witherspoon, and the That 70s Show heartthrob Ashton Kutcher couldn't save this film from sinking. These actors are known for being able to play romantics on screen. How can we forget the way Witherspoon literally carried Legally Blonde on her dainty shoulders with her exceptional performance? And how our hearts melted each time we saw Kutcher on screen, romancing his real-life lady love, Mila Kunis.
Sorry to bother you. I've been hiking all day and I saw you had a hose out here and I was wondering if I could fill up my water bottle.
I have a hose? Second remarriage. Well, this one's gonna stick, right?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
In what
Yeah.
way?
Well, I've been a single mom before, and the idea, I think a lot of single moms are very pragmatic, they're very careful.
But even though this film literally has a dream cast and both the leading actors in the film are exceptionally talented, the bad reviews that the movie has garnered only provide proof of one thing: a rom-com can have a terrible script and cheesy one-liners, and it would still somehow work. But if the essential ingredient is missing, then not even the greatest actors can rescue the film. And now you're all probably wondering what this missing ingredient is. Any guesses? It's the one thing that made all the greatest rom-coms great, the thing that made us fall in love with The Notebook or weep our eyes out when the Titanic sank. Yes, folks, I'm referring to the chemistry between the lead pairs. You can't expect us to empathize with the characters and fall in love with their story of falling in love if the characters don't even seem like they're in love. And therein lies the problem. And as it turns out, the lack of chemistry isn't only a problem on screen. Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher seemed very awkward on the red carpet too. Some things in life just cannot be forced. Two people may be exceptional actors, but they cannot act like they get along with one another. And when you're literally shooting a romantic comedy, getting along with one another is really important. And no, I'm not suggesting that these two actors hate one another or something, but it almost seems as if they don't really vibe well together. And hey, it happens. We can't get along with just about anybody. But if the two people who are supposed to play on-screen lovers end up looking awkward around each other during promotional events, sounds like a problem, doesn't it? And that's exactly what happened at a recent red carpet event in which the two actors showed up to promote their film. If you've seen the picture of the event, you'd notice how painfully awkward the pair look. The Cruel Intentions actress looked stunning in a blue gown and Kutcher was handsome as always. And while the two looked really good individually, together they seemed like the odd pair. Even Ashton's wife Mila poked fun at the red carpet event. Mila Kunis made note of how strange those pictures seemed. And if your wife, your biggest cheerleader, feels the need to criticize something, then there is a problem. Especially because Mila has always been really supportive. To be honest, that event should have been a warning to all of us that your place or mine is going to be 2 hours of the same awkwardness. The internet did what it does best. Those photos became a viral meme, and Ashton tried to explain the awkwardness by saying that he didn't want to be too chummy and imply that something's going on between the two.
Together, besides all that and getting to know each other, was we both have done enough films in this genre?
Oh, come on, Ash. If you're promoting a rom-com, you need to at least look like you like the woman standing next to you. But hey, I think we're putting too much blame on the lack of chemistry and not enough on the problems with the script. Because the truth is, Your Place or Mine didn't have a compelling enough story to be a rom-com. Before I get into tearing apart the whole story bit by bit and explaining why it just didn't work, let's take a moment to remember that this is literally Alan Brosh McKenna's first film. And hey, first times are always about trial and error.
As writers, and then things happen in their life where they are trying to find the right circumstances to become a director, to become a showrunner, and I think
But that being said, the plot had some major issues that made it even harder for the two main characters to connect. Spoiler alert, the rom-com revolves around the lives of two really good friends, Debbie and Peter. They've been besties since their youth and have only hooked up once during their college years, but somehow managed to sustain a long-term, long-distance friendship despite their very happening lives. The starting scenes of the film are almost promising and have a hint of chemistry. We get to witness the parallel lives of these two very different besties. The way they get up in the morning and step into the shower. Peter in his empty little Brooklyn apartment and Debbie in her homely little house, along with her teenage son in LA. Their lives seem perfectly stable until Debbie gets a chance to pursue her dream in New York and Peter moves to LA for some time to take care of a kid. So while Debbie is in New York living the city girl life, flirting with strangers, making new friends, and Peter is taking care of Debbie's teenage son, catering to his own daddy issues and hanging out with Debbie's Zen neighbors, these two somehow reach the realization that they had always been in love. Wait, what? How? Weren't the two of them best friends? Maybe the movie would have worked out better if Debbie and Peter had just stayed friends. For fans, it doesn't make logical sense that two people who had been friends for decades now switch lives for a week and decide they're in love. Especially because they didn't really have a lot of romance even back in college. Come on, guys, they had sex just once, and the rest of their relationship was mostly just digital. If that wasn't enough, then may I remind you that their personalities didn't even seem compatible? Peter seems like an irresponsible man-child for the majority of the film, and Debbie is a single mother who wants to focus on her career. Then where did the love even come from? And that's the issue that most fans have. There was not enough build-up. Not many cutesy scenes either. The build-up and the cheesy romance are what make a rom-com great. But despite all these flaws, some aspects of the film make it redeemable. For example, the great actors involved. So now you're probably wondering, should I stream it or skip it? Despite all these little flaws, the movie still managed to earn the #1 spot on Netflix this week, and a lot of it is due to the promotional activity that Netflix did for the movie. But again, the cast is a real audience grabber too. And hey, even bad publicity is still publicity. These things probably added to the appeal of the film, so my verdict is that even though the film may not be the best cinematic masterpiece, if you're someone who has a lot of free time to kill, and if you're someone who genuinely misses the nostalgia of a good old 2000s rom-com, or even if you just want to see Reese in action again, give it a go. Who knows? You might end up enjoying it.
I'll be completely honest. We met like just kind of socially in Los Angeles. I've been.
I was here on the reunion for the Baby Bachelor, so I've sort of like, you know.
Speaking of the Baby Bachelor, Reese, do you know about the Baby Bachelor?
I really
Okay, so
don't.
years ago we did.
And that's all I had to say on why the #1 movie on Netflix didn't sit right with many people.